Hello, Eagle fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Eagles pregame show, coming to you from the NCCU Sports Network studio. North Carolina Central back at home, getting ready for what's going to be a battle for first place in between the Eagles and the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. South Carolina State 2-0 already in conference play. They've gone out to a fantastic start already. Won their last couple of games by allowing just 21 points. They defeat Morgan State 37-14 and win on the road in Dover against Delaware State 13-7. But the true matchup is here. North Carolina Central is bringing in the number one scoring defense in the league, and South Carolina State is bringing in the number two scoring offense. This year, 6 teams in the MEAC, 5 conference games, true round robin. Everybody plays each other once. And if you lose, you're basically out. And that's what both North Carolina Central and South Carolina State are facing today. South Carolina State 2-0, North Carolina Central 1-0 after a big win on the road against Morgan State. It was a tough one going into the half. And then all of a sudden, the Eagles explode offensively, 21 points, a big touchdown reception by Andrew Smith. And then the Eagles again buckle down defensively. They hold Morgan State to just 7 points, outscore them 21-7 on the way to the win in Charm City. So North Carolina Central coming home, trying to keep the magic going. We're going to sit down and speak with head coach Trei Oliver. And he's going to say something. I don't know if you saw the press conference earlier this week. He said this team is not really quite a championship caliber team yet. So I asked him, what are the hallmarks of a championship caliber team? And what do the Eagles need to do to move in that direction? And here's our full conversation with Coach Oliver as he talks about last week's game at Morgan and what's ahead for the Eagles against South Carolina State. Jonathan Durham alongside Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. Coach, great to see you. Congratulations on the win. 1-0 in conference play.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. It was a hard-fought game, tough game. Went up to Morgan for their homecoming, and I thought our guys, we got off to a slow start. And we knew they were going to take the air out of the ball and try to control the clock, which they did. We only had 4 possessions in the first half, which is usually get about 6 to 7. But we started out pretty sloppy, 2 turnovers and a punt in those first 3. So we settled down, went in the locker room. The coaches, I thought, did an outstanding job of making some halftime adjustments. And then we came out and we scored 3 straight touchdowns. So I was pleased to see that. I thought the guys grew up a little bit, and some of our playmakers are starting to make plays.
Yeah, Coach, I want to go ahead and zoom in on that. You outscore Morgan State 21-7 in the second half. You said, you made some great changes, but what specifically was it that was made? And also, where did the players come in to adjust on their own?
I think some of it defensively, we tried to make some adjustments with our front 7, our D-line and our linebackers to help shore up some run fits. And then offensively, we continue to preach matchups. And, we thought we had some good matchups that we could take advantage of, especially with our tight ends and also in the run game. And I thought our offensive line, grew up and they played much better Saturday. And that was good to see. So it was, a team effort with the players, coaches, and everybody involved.
Davius Richard, I was talking with offensive coordinator Matt Leone about this, and we all know he's not shy about sharing the football around. Got 2 touchdowns from 2 different tight ends, including a nice one-handed grab from Quentin Chaplin. How great was it to see the tight ends get involved?
I mean, that was good to see. And, those guys are really talented. And, it was good to see both of those guys have breakout games. And, when you're talking about them spreading the ball around, I think we had probably about 6 or 7 different players with receiving yards stats. So he does a really good job of going through his progressions. He doesn't just get locked in on one guy, and that's where the ball's going. So wherever the defense tells him to throw the ball, or lets him throw the ball, that's where he's going with it. But I was really pleased with Pee Wee's performance, or should I say Davies' performance on Saturday.
And then the big touchdown run from Andrew Smith on the catch, and then we've been watching the young freshman receivers come along this year, Coach.
I've said it all along that I think that we have some explosive playmakers at the skill positions on offense. And I keep talking about how young we are, and I just, it's the truth, and I don't use that, as an excuse or anything like that. But I'm so excited about these young men, the futures for these guys. You look at guys like Andrew Smith and Devin Smith and, Latrell Collier and Pee Wee. All these guys, just are young, and they got, 2 or 3 more years left. So, it's just exciting to have those type of guys in our program.
And then the game gets finished with Cole Jones being in the right place, right time, getting another interception this year. Defensively, you talked about the defense coming in and making the changes in the second half. Where'd you see them improve as you've come into conference play now?
Well, again, you talk about Cole Jones. That's another freshman, true freshman. So, and he's going to be outstanding. I think we made strides defensively. I really do. Although sometimes we give up a little, more yards than I would like to see. I see improvement, especially with tackling. Guys doing a great job of leveraging the ball, and then just guys flying around. I mean, I thought we played pretty fast Saturday defensively. It was a lot of hats getting to that ball, and they were getting there with bad intentions. And that was really, really good to see. So I think, as a coaching staff, we have to do a little bit better job of, putting those guys in position to make plays so they can be successful.
Coach, earlier this week in the press conference with the local media, you said that, you didn't really see this team as being a championship caliber team yet. Well, this game on Saturday against South Carolina State is a game that has, elimination intentions as well. And North Carolina Central is 1-0, South Carolina State is 1-0. But Coach, I want to ask you, what are the hallmarks of a championship caliber team in your opinion, and what does North Carolina Central need to do to start working in that direction?
I think the big thing is you have to stay focused and deal with the task at hand. You can't look too far ahead, just take it one game at a time. And as far as championship teams, aside from staying focused and not looking too far down the road, you have to get better every week, every practice. And I know that's so cliche to say that, but sometimes you see teams get in just the habit of going to practice as opposed to going to practice and getting better. And that's why, you have to keep practice interesting, fun. Sometimes you have to change some things up. Something as small as, sudden change. Offense, you go down the other end of the field. Defense, you come down in this end. Just different scenery, just something to keep those guys interested, motivated, and locked in. Because, when you do something for 3 or 4 months straight, you kind of get in a habit. And if you're not careful, you might just be going through the motions. So we have to make sure that we're taking advantage of every rep that we have at practice, every minute we have at practice.
All right, Coach, you talk about taking it one game at a time to be a championship caliber team. Well, coming into town, South Carolina State's a team that they'll remind you of their championships when you go down to Oliver C. Dawson Stadium down there in Orangeburg. But, Coach, what have you seen from the Bulldogs? You got, a fantastic defensive team. Jacoby Durant just received a Shrine Bowl invitation today. But what have you seen from the Bulldogs?
I wish Kobe Durant would go ahead and leave early for the Shrine Bowl. But that kid is a player, man. I think he's probably the best corner in the conference. Obviously, South Carolina State's always going to be stout defensively. Defensive line is very active. The linebackers are lean and very fast. They fly around. And then, they have the Durant kid in the secondary. Offensively, this is probably going to be one of the better offensive lines we'll face this year. And everything starts at the quarterback, Fields. And I think that's a guy that's improved tremendously from the start of the season. He kind of struggled a little bit early on, but he's really coming to his own as of late. And then they have 3 receivers, the Green kid, I think Shaq Davis, and I think Richard Bailey is the other one. But they have 3 receivers. I think they got those kids off the track team because all 3 of those guys can fly. So we'll have our work cut out for us. It's a good football team with South Carolina State, but I like the way we match up. And we're excited about the challenge. And I think it should be a good game this weekend.
All right, Coach, what's it going to take for the Eagles to be successful here at home in the Nest?
Again, like I say always, we have to win up front. We have to be able to run the football on these people and stop the run first and foremost. We have to protect the football. And we've got to score some points, Our playmakers have to step up and make plays. And I think we saw a piece of that against Morgan State. And hopefully that's just, we'll see a little bit more of that moving forward.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thank you. Take care, bud.
That's head coach Trei Oliver. Next up, we'll go to our keys to the game. We'll start on the defensive side this time around with defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. He said that the Eagles were good in the second half against Morgan State by being able to recognize what was coming up. They'd been able to study all week. They were able to recognize the pictures, as he says, each week, and they were able to communicate with each other to get that done. And I was asking him, how are the Eagles going to be able to keep that going against this game against South Carolina State? And here's our conversation with him. Coach, the Eagles come back after the bye week and go 1-0 in conference play. Congratulations on the win at Morgan State.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It was good for the kids to get a win and get motivated. Obviously, for the coaches, it serves as continued motivation to get them going in practice.
Well, Coach, a big defensive stand in the second half. You outscored Morgan State 21-7. What really clicked for that defense?
You know what? It's just seeing the pictures. I know we talk a lot about pictures all the time, and it's just about seeing the pictures. You're getting into game 6, 7, so guys are starting to get more tape on you, on the defense. So they know, hey, how to set up, especially if you know about, how offenses are set up in the first 12 to 15 plays. They kind of call those plays off a play sheet. After then, they leave the play sheet to kind of call the game based off what they've seen within the first 12 to 15 plays. So, they're probably checking out some of our structures within the first 12 plays to see what we're like. And we had some things that we had to see, and some things that they had planned for. And obviously they came out like they did. We went back to the sideline, communicated what we were seeing and what plays we were getting, and the kids did a great job of adjusting to it from the sideline.
And Coach, a big defensive stand in the second half, as we said, but let's talk about a little bit of individual efforts. We've seen Cole Jones starting to come along, picked up that interception to end the game. What have you seen from him as he started to develop?
I think he's obviously has skill as an athlete. I think the other guys around him, the Trey T-Vert, what we call Trey Wallace, T-Vert. Well, we have Steven Stokes, we have Manny Smith, we have Noah Rainbow Douglas. They have really taken him under their wing, and if you see, they're the ones that have to communicate. I mean, we're a big defense that has some checks, and we want to try to get as close to a call as perfect as we can. So those guys have really surrounded him with some good support. He's athletic, he's explosive, he's physical. Now, all the other stuff, like all the intangibles, they come from the older guys. So they surround him, they put him in a nest per se, and say, hey, let us protect you this way. Let us communicate with you, and then we'll let you fly. And that's what he's doing.
Jonathan Durham with Eagles defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. Coach, the Eagles coming back home to take on South Carolina State. This is a game between two undefeated teams. South Carolina State, they've been known for their defense. It's been talked about so far this year with Jacoby Durant, but their offense also as well. I mean, they've scored over 34 times this year. What have you seen from South Carolina State?
They're a physical run game football team. They have explosive guys on the perimeter, so we're going to have to do a great job of finding balance in the defense. They want to run the football. They have a great back in 26 that'll be coming back, I believe. And again, he's a physical runner that likes to run the ball downhill, but he also has the ability to change direction in a hurry. I really, like I told our guys and have explained to them, I believe they are a very diverse football team. They can threaten you down the field with their 3 wide receivers, or they can run the football with their 2, but I think their top 2 dynamic running backs. So I think that those guys in particular, this, in my opinion, is the best backfield that we've played outside of A&T and outside of A&T and Marshall. These guys are pretty good.
Well, Coach, earlier this week during the weekly press conference, Coach Oliver said that this Eagle team still has some steps to take to be on its way to being a championship caliber team. In your opinion, what are the hallmarks of a championship caliber defense, and what do the Eagles need to do to step in that direction? Consistency
is important. I think that the consistency in communication, the consistency in tracking the football, the consistency in calls for them. I think that's what's going to help us take the next step. We have to be consistent in how we track the football, because you talk about tackling. It's easier to make tackles when there's more than one person at the ball. It's easier to get a guy down when there's more than obviously one guy at the ball. And then it's easier, in my opinion, to leverage the football when we have multiple guys that can communicate to get lined up. Many times you say, Coach, why do you always speak about communication? Because communication gets you aligned, and aligned gets you in leverage. Leverage gets you in a position to track the football down. So those are the things that we really want to do, and why I hone in so much on where they need to be. We talk about this, and this is a big correction from the Morgan State game, is, hey, Coach, how do we get these guys to settle down? And I said, hey, guys, my job is to do this. My job is to get you guys to call so you can get aligned. And Jonathan, you maybe later on you'll get to see this here as you and the rest of the people get through the game. But when you set the right call and you play a call, whatever call that may be, and you know what the call is, then you can set your feet and your eyes down. When you set your feet and your eyes down, you know exactly what the keys are, which we've given you all week. And then you can play your key and leverage the football based off the call. So you're more successful and more capable of having a consistency in playing great defense when you can set your eyes down, find ball leverage, and then do what the good man gave you the skill to do, which is go play football after then.
All right, Coach. Well, the Eagles are going to be getting ready to go play football against South Carolina State. What are the keys for this Eagle defense to be successful?
Number one is we have to stop the run. That's the biggest and premise. And how are we going to do that? We need to do it with physicality and leverage. Okay. That's number one for us. Stop the run with physicality and leverage. Number two is we have to get increasingly physical or increased physicality from our defensive line and our linebackers relative to their O-line. We have to be able to play physical, put our hands, or utilize our leg power on things, taking on blocks, releasing off blocks, and being able to be dominant at the line of scrimmage. The next thing we need to do is we need to track the football. We need to get more than one hat to the football. It can't be an Oklahoma drill where it's one-on-one. We need to get multiple hats to the ball and play and play team tracking football. Last thing is number four is we need to have the defensive backs impose their mentality on the receivers. They need to make sure that we protect the roof in the vertical pass game, because they are a vertical team. They do have big, long, skilled receivers. So we need to be able to protect that. Again, protect the roof is the last component of it. And overall, like we tell them, and we've told them this week, if we can eliminate the explosive plays, we're giving ourselves a chance.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. Now let's go to the offensive side of the rock. Here's offensive coordinator Matt Leone as he talks about the development of this Eagle offense, with Davius Richard able to spread the ball around, 2 touchdowns thrown to 2 separate tight ends. Quentin Chaplin with a fantastic one-handed stab in the end zone against the Bears last week. And also the freshman wide receivers starting to come into form as well. So here's offensive coordinator Matt Leone talking about what the Eagles have done. Coach, thank you so much for your time. And again, congrats on the win.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for having me. And it was a good win. Guys played hard.
Eagles start 1-0 in conference play, win on the road at Morgan State. That's the game where Davius Richard broke out last year, had another solid game against Morgan State. What was really clicking for the Eagles, especially in the second half, as you outscored the Bears 21-7?
The guys did a great job of keeping their poise and just stuck to the game plan. We had limited possessions in the first half with just 3 possessions, and we just told them, hey, stick to the game plan and keep your composure, and we would take advantage of some opportunities that presented itself, and the guys did that, and they were poised the whole game, and we did a good job of getting the running game started, and then we had some explosive plays in the passing game, and everybody started just clicking and making plays.
Yeah, we know Davius Richard over this season, the season before. He's not shy about sharing the football around. 242 yards and a bunch of passing touchdowns, including 2 to 2 separate tight ends. How great was it to see the tight ends get involved?
It was great. We knew we had some matchup advantages with our tight ends versus some of their linebackers and safeties, and both Isaiah Macklin and Quentin Chaplin did a great job when the opportunity presented itself and made their plays, and very, very proud of both those young men.
Yeah, Chaplin had the fantastic one-handed stab in the end zone, and then you've got, Andrew Smith taking it to the house from a long way out, and the two freshman wide receivers, they really start to be coming along now.
Yes, yeah, they just keep getting better and better every week, and they're starting to see that their hard work that they've been putting in pay off, and it's good to see that.
All right. Well, Coach, North Carolina Central moving along, win number 1 in league play. Next up is South Carolina State, and they've got a guy who just got an invite to the Shrine Bowl, Jacoby Durant. South Carolina State, they've got a strong defense. What have you seen from the Bulldogs?
Yeah, strong defense. They've always been known for their defense. They're always stout and quick up front and athletic and long at linebacker, and then they always got guys in the secondary. So they're a good defense, and we're getting going on film and getting prepared for them, but definitely got some good players on the defense side of the ball.
This will be the second game for the Eagles in conference play, coming off of the bye week you had going into the Morgan game. How beneficial was it to have that week off?
It was good. We were able to get some guys back and healthy. We had some guys banged up, especially up front on the offensive line. So it was nice to be able to have that week to heal up and get guys back for conference play.
All right, Coach. Well, South Carolina State coming here to town. What are the keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
Well, we got to build off of last week, and we wanted to establish the running game like we did this past week, and then create explosive plays, whether it's in the running game or and the passing game, and then have great situational awareness and execute in those situations. I thought we did a much better job this last week on first down, which allowed us to be better on third down, and we want to carry that same thing into this week. Win first down, win third down, and then in the red zone, this last week we went 2 for 2 with touchdowns in the red zone. We got to continue to build on that. So if we can do those things, we like our chances.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on the field.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, those are your keys to the game. You just heard from offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Before that, it was defensive coordinator Juan Navarro and, of course, head coach Trei Oliver at the top of the program. So North Carolina Central getting ready for this game against South Carolina State. That game will kick off at 2 o'clock here on ESPN+. I'll be on the call alongside Eagles Hall of Famer Joe Simmons. Other games kicking off at 2 o'clock. It's Howard at Delaware State, and then Morgan State at Norfolk State. After today, there'll be at maximum one undefeated team in conference play remaining. It'll be either North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, or Norfolk State. They're 1-0. If they get that win against Morgan State, we'll be down to 2. And South Carolina State and Norfolk State and North Carolina Central and Norfolk State haven't met yet. So that game, more than likely, will be the championship decider. And how about this? North Carolina Central faces the Spartans next week for homecoming here at the Nest. If you want information about that, you can visit nccu.edu/theultimatehomecoming. All right, our weather for this afternoon, a 2 o'clock kickoff. The estimated temperature 61 degrees, overcast, 84% humidity. Bring a jacket. Might not rain, but you might be chilly, so I'd advise you to bring a jacket. Stay warm. We'll see you this afternoon at the Nest, North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, 2 o'clock. Thanks for joining us here on the Eagles pregame show, and we'll see you down the lines. Let's go Eagles.